Alrighty, everybody, welcome in. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday. We're going to be getting together today to talk about all the new Star Wars news that came out. Disney announced, if you don't already know, a bunch of new properties that are going to be coming out, and we are super excited and kind of wanted to do some reactions, talk about what we're excited about, and things we can expect or think we may be expecting from some of these new shows that'll be coming to Disney Plus. What's the most excited thing like you're excited about?
Oh, like the overall?
Yeah, out of like everything we've seen, what are you most excited about?
That's hard because I love all the characters so much, but probably just seeing Obi again and Hayden coming back as
Oh yeah.
Vader, and I kind of wonder if we're ever gonna see his actual face, if we're ever
Mm.
gonna see him like, all deformed
Yeah.
or, post losing arms and legs and becoming a burnt bagel. So so I think that's what I'm most excited about, just seeing them. Plus I love Ewan McGregor as an actor, and
He's
so
yeah.
I'm so excited
Super
about
awesome.
that.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm most excited about too, is at the Obi-Wan show. And mostly like I was already excited about it, but the fact that Hayden's coming back, I mean, Anakin and Vader are my favorite characters in all of the
Hmm.
Star Wars universe. So them announcing that Hayden's coming back and reprising like his role of Vader. Um I don't know if we'll get maybe flashbacks because like what you're saying, like maybe are we gonna see him with the helmet off kind of deal? They might do makeup, but it would be cool to see kind of like flashbacks because this is 10 years after episode 3.
Right.
So maybe if we get some like flashbacks of
Right.
Hayden as Anakin,
Hmm.
and then also of course he's going to be playing Vader as well.
Yeah. It would just be cool. I mean, I think we're gonna probably see a lot of, their relationship
Hmm.
fleshing out after, Anakin loses his mind,
Yeah.
and becomes Vader. But I really wonder what that's gonna be like. If it's gonna be a lot of actual face-to-face encounter, like we're gonna see Obi-Wan and
Hmm.
Vader actually in being in front of each other,
Yeah.
or if it's gonna be more force communication, and feelings
Yeah.
and things like that. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm expecting, but I know I'm excited.
I mean, there's just so many places it could go, right? I
Yeah.
mean, at the end of episode 4, when Obi and Vader meet again,
Mhm.
they kind of leave it off very vague, like you shouldn't have come back, like they'd met before, but we don't
Mhm.
know when they
Right.
met again.
Yep.
It could have been like Anakin as a Padawan meeting again. It
Mhm.
could have been they ended up meeting again along
Yep.
the way. So, I mean, it would be cool to see like a really cool lightsaber battle between them
I mean,
to kind of make up for what we got in A New Hope, you know?
as long as it's not like,
eh, eh, eh.
yeah,
Right? There
as
was
long as it's not that,
not
it's
enough
okay.
twirls and spins in there,
Yeah, definitely.
but definitely excited to see where that show goes.
Yeah, for sure. I'm also wondering like who else we might see in there. I mean, obviously, Obi and Vader are gonna be, the main people, but I'm wondering if we're gonna see other people that we know are lurking out there at the
Yeah.
same time, like Maul and Palpatine, and or
Hmm.
maybe not even see them, but have mentions of
Yeah.
those characters that are out there. Or I don't know, just things like that. I just kind of wonder who else we're gonna see in there.
So I know some of the shows they announced take place during the Mandalorian era. Do we know if this is, I know it's 10 years after, but I'm wondering if they could link it to like Ahsoka.
I mean, if it's 10 years after, it's at the same time of around Rebels.
Okay.
So we know what's going on around that time,
Hmm.
sort of. Um, and I think it's gonna be, if it's 10 years after, it's still gonna be pre episode 4, because between 3 and 4 there's
Yeah.
like 15 or 16 or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be before that, but we do have Rebels in there, so we can infer, different things that may be going on
Definitely. Very true.
politically.
Speaking of Ahsoka, we have an Ahsoka show coming out. How do you feel?
I'm so
Favorite?
excited because she's one of my favorite characters ever.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Ahsoka
super
is
excited.
awesome. With her showing up in The Mandalorian, we kind of got two separate sides of the fan base, those that loved it and those that were a little unsure. I know you're on the loved it side.
I'm pretty easily entertained.
For me, like I thought Rosario Dawson looked the part very, very well, but not having the original voice actor Ashley kind of threw me off a little bit on that. Um, Either way, like I'm gonna love it and we're gonna watch the heck out of it for sure. Um,
For me, as far as the Mandal, what's her name? The actress for the Mandalorian,
Rosario Dawson.
Zarya. So as far as her in the new show in the Mandalorian, I love the way that she looked. She was
Oh
super
yeah.
legit.
Yep.
Um, and I actually didn't mind the change of voice just because, when we see Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, she's like 16. When we see her again in Rebels, um, she's what? Around the same age, basically. It hasn't been that long. The events are not that far apart. She may be in her 20s,
Yeah.
Um, but now she's probably like late 30s, 40s.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the way I see it is her voice has matured and it changes, and so I guess that's why I didn't mind the voice change that
Yeah.
much. But I do have a certain attachment to Ahsoka's voice and
Yeah.
like her inflections and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Maybe, I don't know if this was something they might have thought about, but maybe it would have been cool if they gave her like speech, classes to teach her how to sound
Yeah.
like her. I don't know, but
No,
that
I
would have
mean,
been
I
cool
think
too, I think.
she did a good job. And Star Wars is just awesome in general. So getting a show like, I don't think any of us ever thought we were gonna get a live action
Mm-mm.
Ahsoka ever.
Yep.
So just being able to have that in like a show based entirely around her is gonna be really, really cool.
Yeah, I think up until now we were all just satisfied with the book. Just like what is it called? Is it just Ahsoka, right? The book, the main
Oh, the
book
book
about her.
Ahsoka,
Yeah,
yeah.
and a lot of people were talking about that book
Hmm.
and stuff. But um,
Yeah.
when is Ahsoka supposed to take place?
So it's in the Mandalorian era, so
Oh,
in
right.
the
Okay.
same timeline. So I don't remember exactly how many years that
Hmm.
is, but yeah. So one thing that I thought was kind of cool is in the like artwork we got for Ahsoka, which I'll pull up here on the screen. For all you Rebels fans out there, we had that episode, A World Between Worlds, which was really, really cool where um blanking on his name,
Ezra.
Ezra opened up like literally a world between worlds, and we had different portals leading to the past or
Yeah.
future or different things like that. And I feel like we're probably going to get that in this Ahsoka series just based off of the artwork. Like if you look behind the Star Wars Ahsoka logo,
Hmm.
we have kind of this galaxy kind of map and it looks very much like the inside of that world.
Yep.
So that would be really, really cool to kind
Hmm.
of see that unveil itself more and
Yep.
kind of see maybe how it interacts with the universe, if things are going to, if we're going to see flashbacks maybe with that.
Mhm.
And also with the show being in the Mandalorian time, there's talk that we're probably going to get some crossovers between that. So that'll be really awesome to see.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I kind of wonder, and these are just speculations, but because the background of the logo has that circle with, yeah, like all that's galaxy mapping sort of thing.
Mhm.
Um, it definitely feels like a world between worlds for me.
Yeah.
And since that's on the logo, I kind of wonder if that's going to be the main, core
Yeah.
of the show. Like, if we know this is post Mandalorian, I wonder if it's gonna have something to do with the Dark Lords like Palpatine and people like that trying to tap into that world,
Mhm.
to use it to their advantage.
Yeah.
To change things that have happened or that will happen, um, as the First Order is coming to rise, because this is that time period, right? That the
Yeah.
First Order is starting to form from the
Mhm.
ashes of the Empire. So I don't know. I just kind of wonder if that's going to be like a thing. People are gonna be trying to take that power for themselves.
Yeah, no,
That would be
definitely.
cool.
I
Or
mean,
it's just a cool circle they put there, and they're just making us think things.
yeah, I mean, it totally could be. It's kind of representative of too. I know you didn't play it, but in Jedi Fallen Order, like when you meditate, it kind of looks kind of like that map that's in there as well. So it could be something. We could be reading too much into it. Who
We could
knows?
be, but we
But
don't
it makes
know.
sense.
Oh, I mean, when Ezra and Ahsoka are in the World Between Worlds and Rebels, does Ahsoka? I mean, I don't remember if you remember, but does Ahsoka actually know where they are?
I want to say she kind of figured it out while they were in there, but I'm
Okay.
not 100% sure. It's been a
Okay.
while since we've sat down and watched that episode.
Okay.
We might have to do that tonight.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah.
Cool. Anything else you want to say about Ahsoka?
Um, I don't think so. Not right now. I don't think so.
All right. Well, sticking in that kind of Mandalorian era, we don't know too much about it, but we are getting a new show called Star Wars Rangers of the New Republic. Um, so it's also run by Favreau and Filoni, which is cool, as well as Ahsoka. They
Filoni.
are like killing it with the Star Wars universe. Like
They're
it's
pushing it.
ridiculous.
It's
Yeah.
it's crazy how good they are at
Yeah.
that. And yeah. They're both so
Um
passionate about it. It just like oozes out of them,
mhm.
just love for what they do.
They love Star Wars,
Dave
which is
Filoni is like
awesome.
a
Like,
freaking knowledge machine.
yep.
It's crazy.
Oh yeah. No, and he did such a good job. He worked on Clone Wars, he worked on Rebels,
Yeah.
he's rocking it on Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So based off of all we have is kind of a logo of it. I don't have it pulled up for you guys. I apologize. But it's like I said, Rangers of the New Republic. It's a very like sleek and clean logo. Like if you look at it, and the New Republic we've been seeing rise up during The Mandalorian. In one of the latest episodes, Cara Dune. Remember when Dave Filoni's character, the two pilots that are kind of like patrolling the galaxy,
Hmm.
right? And they meet up with the Mando, and they're like, "Oh, like I'm gonna give you a ticket." Not really, but
Yeah, yeah,
they end
yeah.
up
Sir,
on
you passed the stop sign, sir. This is gonna be. Yeah.
they end up on the same planet. I can't remember the name right now that Kara's on, and she's the marshal. And they hand her the badge, remember?
Mhm.
And they're like, if you want to join the New Republic.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's gonna be kind of I don't know, a Star Wars like cop show. Maybe not a cop show, but you know what I mean? It's gonna be about these people, rangers for the New Republic. So maybe how they're going around and enforcing kind of good on the galaxy,
Solving
possibly.
cases and
Maybe
things like
not
that,
solving
maybe?
cases, no, but maybe just building up the New Republic and
Right.
stuff like that.
So the New Republic started post Battle of Endor, so it's actually already been around for a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, right now in the Mandalorian era, I think they're still kind of building it up.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, certainly. Okay.
So
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about it. Is this the one that was the thriller
no,
something?
that's
That's
gonna
another
be
one,
yeah,
right?
we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay,
That's the
okay.
Cassian Andor.
Well, yeah. I guess we don't know enough about this
Yeah.
really to know. The logo looks sort of Air Forcey almost.
Yeah,
That's
kinda
kind of
like
the vibe.
pilot wings
Yeah.
almost.
That's the vibe I'm getting. So I don't know. I'll just off of that and the little bit of information we have, I'm kind of feeling like it might be like a lot of dogfights and things like that. So who
Cool.
knows? We'll see.
Set in the world of the Mandalorian, so we can probably see like crossover stuff happening with the Ahsoka show and Mandalorian
Mandalorian.
and this, which would be super cool to kind of see like crossover episodes.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of your little thriller, um, Star Wars Andor. So we've known about this show for a little bit now. But we're getting a whole show about Cassian and
Yep.
Cassian Andor. This takes place several years before Rogue One, which is probably one of, if not my favorite, like Star Wars movies. Before we chat about it though, let's watch the trailer.
It means I need my
Your glasses.
glasses. Yes. Okay.
Get your headphones too if you want audio.
Oh yeah, that's true. Good idea.
Everything I did for the rebellion.
Rogue One, in many ways, it's a film that connected new audiences with the oldest fans. It was a bittersweet feeling, you know, on the premiere, knowing that it was just one film. But then magic happens, right?
As you can see, we're getting ready. We're building stages, we're rehearsing, we're training, we're trying costumes, we're doing everything to make sure we do the best show.
I'm really excited having the chance to explore Cassian. It's really fun to go on a set that is emulating something you like so much.
The enormity of this is like doing a big feature film.
It's very cinematic. For me, that's where the excitement is.
12 episodes, 12 scripts, over 200 named cast members, over 6,000 crowd people, a lot of creatures that come in from the creature department.
We treat this exactly like we would a film. There is no difference in our approach.
Every creature and droid that we've been building has the same care, level of attention to detail as the previous films.
It's huge, it's thrilling, but also it's wonderfully challenging.
There's tons of possibilities to explore. It is the building of a revolution.
Cool.
All right.
Excited.
Yeah, so that's going to be a Cassian Andor show. Set to come out, I think, 2022. They did already start filming though, which is good news.
Yes.
So, yeah. So I loved Rogue One. It's the first time I ever like. You're always raving about Diego Luna. It's the first thing I've ever seen him in, and absolutely loved his character of Cassian. So for me, anything that fills in like time periods in the Star Wars universe that we haven't explored yet is like a win-win.
Yep.
Because I love learning more about what's happening in the world that we haven't quite gotten to see and how it connects. So, like I said earlier, this one kind of takes place before Rogue One, and I think we're going to be seeing Cassian and K2SO is going to be in it, and kind of how I know, awesome droid. Star Wars like killed it with droids lately. Such a sass. But seeing how they find their place in the rebellion. So I think that's going to be really awesome.
Yeah. I'm like you said, I'm just super excited to see Diego Luna back because he's the bomb. And when Rogue One came out, it was the very first like Latino representation that had a leading role in Star Wars universe. And I think that meant a lot to a lot of people. You know, there were a lot of stories out there that, you know, he's Mexican, we know that. And so there were people out there like, oh, you know, there's a guy in Star Wars that looks like me. And so I love that he gets like a real leading role for, you know, a show. That we hope is going to continue for, you know, many seasons to come. I'm excited to see how he finds his place in the rebellion before we see him in Rogue One. We know how things end, obviously. Very sad, but there's a lot of heroes.
Sacrifice that needed to be made.
Exactly. There's a lot of heroes in the universe. So yeah, I'm super excited to see that. And I love that he's an executive producer of the show as well.
Oh,
so,
I did not know that.
Yeah, it showed up right there in the thing. So I like that he's getting his hands like in the dirt and just, you know, molding it how he's envisioning it as well. So that's pretty cool.
Definitely. Yeah. All right. So next, Clone Wars, Bad Batch.
Excited.
Let's watch the sizzle trailer.
Which means I need a microscope again.
They call themselves the Bad Batch.
The Republic will be reorganized into the first
Galactic Empire!
That was quite an impressive display.
Awesome.
All right, so Bad Batch. Clone Wars series was by far my favorite like thing in Star Wars. It kind of filled that void when we got to the end of like the prequel trilogy, and as much as I love them now, at the time like it wasn't enough Anakin for me. Wasn't a huge fan of Hayden at the time, but I learned to
You're
love
not
him.
alone.
And seeing a more of like that Clone Wars era and getting to know Obi-Wan and Anakin and meeting Ahsoka for the first time and seeing all this stuff that kind of happened, Order 66, and seeing more in depth with that was really cool. And then like right there in the newest season we had the good old Bad Batch, which was like this group of jerks and nerdy and quirky like guys that came out wrong, right? And formed their own kind of platoon. Which at first I wasn't like a huge fan of them. They were kind of like a one-off kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of excited to see what they are, what they do. It seems from like the sizzle trailer, it's gonna take place right after Order 66 and right
That's what I was just
after episode 3, because you see Palpatine in there.
Yep.
And he's like, we're the Galactic Republic or whatever is now going to be the Empire, pretty much. So I'm intrigued to see like, is this going to be like Bad Batch right before? Or are we going to go through Order 66 again and see kind of what happens after that? Or is the Bad Batch good? Are they bad? Like, did they turn? Like, what happened, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's exactly what I was just thinking when I saw Palpatine. I hadn't actually watched the trailer yet in its entirety, and I'm kind of wondering, since they were basically genetic malfunctions, right? They didn't come out quite right, or looking like everybody else or with the same skill set. I'm wondering if maybe they never got the chip, you
Yeah.
know, and maybe Order 66 goes in and they're just like, okay. So yeah, I'm wondering if they're gonna be good or bad, or which side they're gonna be on. And since this is if this is post 66, are we gonna have Echo in it?
Oh, I would assume.
Okay, so that's gonna be really cool. So for those of you guys, you know, in the Bad Batch we have the original 4. So we had Hunter, who was like the leader of the group. He was like the most normal guy that I remember. Then we had Wrecker, who was like lifted trucks.
Crosshair.
Crosshair, the sniper guy, and then Tech, who
Mhm.
had like crazy stuff, right? But then we end up adding Echo after Cody and Rex, I think, go and rescue him from one of Trench's Mr. Spider Master experiments, where they turn him into like a cyborg, basically.
Yeah.
So after they rescue, Echo now has all these capabilities, like actually tapping into, you know, things like a droid. So I'm excited to actually see him again, because the last thing we saw was he came back and they're like, yeah, man, you're back. And he was like, I feel like I don't belong anymore. And at that point I was super sad. But then he joins the Bad Batch and I'm like, yes,
Yeah. No, I couldn't imagine him not being there.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this is almost going to be a continuation of the Clone Wars, but featuring the Bad Batch. So I don't know. Even in the end of the sizzle, you see like it says the Clone Wars, and then it starts to like fire or
Right.
whatever fade away and
Yeah.
it turns into the Bad
Right.
Batch.
Sort of like it's an obvious link or
Yeah.
yeah. So that's gonna be pretty cool. I'm super excited to see them back.
Yep. So that's mainly all the kind of big news. Couple smaller things is they announced Star Wars Visions,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty cool. It's going to be kind of like a mini series kind of
It's gonna
thing
be,
of anime
Yeah.
artists that
Shorts.
are what?
They're gonna be shorts.
Yeah, shorts. Done by like the top Japanese anime creators, which is awesome
Yeah,
because
that's awesome.
it's where each episode you were telling me is going to be a different studio.
It's gonna be a
correct?
different animation studio, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be cool to see it. Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
wonder if like Studio Ghibli's gonna get in there. You know.
It would be interesting,
Yeah.
right? I mean, they are one of the top out there,
Yeah.
so who knows?
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have that to look forward to. I think that's going to be really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They announced a Lando show,
Yep.
which will be really awesome. We don't know if Donald Glover, right? Was
The actor?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
We don't know who's like they haven't announced, but I
we don't
couldn't
know much about it.
imagine like yeah, we don't really know anything about it.
Probably not. He's probably like home sitting on his rocking chair right now, not wanting to do any of this. But I'm excited to see him, and I'm hoping that his droid is gonna be with him too, because he's also sass.
She is sass. I loved Lando's character in Solo: A Star Wars Story. Like
It was great.
he did such an amazing job, and to just kind of have a show based around him would be awesome. Don't
Mhm.
know what era it's gonna
Yep.
be in really.
Mhm.
It would be really cool if we could have like kind of like flashbacks and forwards of like young Lando and older Lando.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Um
We know, like, just back to Lando real quick. We know that he's, you know, a smooth talking deviant, basically, but we've always just seen him within the context of the main characters, the
Mhm.
protagonists, and things like that. And so I'm really excited to just see him like doing his thing
Yeah.
and like what sorts of crazy trouble he's getting into.
Yeah. Oh,
how
you
he's
know he got
smuggling
in.
stuff and taking advantage of people and yeah, so I don't know. I'm excited to see that. I wonder if he's gonna have the Falcon with him, or if this is gonna be post Lost Falcon.
Yeah.
So
I
we'll see.
assume it would be prior Falcon, the Millennium Falcon. But yeah, it'll be awesome to kind of see a show just based around him. And I mean, he was like everybody thinks Han is like the OG smuggler, but like Han learned everything from Lando.
Yeah, I think
So-
Lando is definitely a lot smoother.
It'll be really cool to kind of see what shenanigans he got into as a young strapping man. All right, one I'm looking forward to just because I don't know much about the era, and I'm hoping it gives me all the Sith and dark side things that I have ever wanted is Star Wars: The Acolyte.
Yeah.
So this takes place at the very end of the High Republic era.
Mhm. Which is a new era that's just shown up, I think, is what I was reading before.
Okay.
So,
I know Star Wars they've been releasing a bunch of books based in this era currently, and I'm assuming the books are kind of leading into what's going to happen in this show. I'm not
Mhm.
sure. So it takes place hundreds of years. So I think you said 200
It's like a
before the
couple
Phantom
hundred.
Menace.
Right.
So that's before episode 1. And it seems to me like it's gonna be kind of seeing the Sith come to rise,
Mhm.
which is really cool because I feel like we don't get to see much of the kind of Empire side or the Sith side of things. So it would be cool if we get to see like Palpatine's master, Darth Plagueis, like
Yep.
come around, and maybe kind of see how the Sith formed.
Yeah. That would be great. We always get a bunch of the hero side, and it would be really cool to
Mhm.
see how the Sith come about. I think this was the one that was going to be like the thriller,
Yeah, so they
something,
classify it
and,
as a mystery thriller.
right?
So
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of going to be kind of spooky.
Yeah. So this is the one I was talking about earlier today. With the producer was saying that the events are going to be triggered by something they call the Great Disaster.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was reading a little bit with an interview with, I can't remember his name, Michael something. And he was saying that the events of this show are going to be triggered by a thing called the Great Disaster, which is, he said it's like the Titanic, but way bigger and way worse in space. So apparently there's this cargo ship heading to the outer rim with supplies and people and all these different things. It's huge, and it's taking people to find a better life in the outer rim, basically. And so they're in hyperspace, and then there's something out there, which really gives me like an alien vibe, like alien movie vibe. But they don't know what is there. Collision is imminent. They can't stop it. It collides. It explodes into like a bajillion pieces, and then all these parts of that cargo ship go flying into space, crashing into planets. There's escape pods with people endangered in them, all these different things. And he said that's the premise of the show. So I think that's what we're gonna see on the first episode. And then we're gonna see what happens after that and how it unfolds. But I'm excited to learn more about it.
Awesome. Another kind of little shorts, I think. It might not be shorts, it might be a full series, is a droid story, which seems super cute. I feel like it's gonna be kind of kiddie, but like you love droids. Like I think that's your favorite thing in all of Star Wars. Yeah, no. Maybe not.
I love so many things in Star Wars universe. It's hard for me to pick one, but I love the droids. They're also funny. They have different personalities.
So it's an animated series that's going to follow R2, D2, and C3PO, and they're meeting and guiding a new droid, like a new hero droid. So it'll be kind of cool to get a new little guy introduced, or girl, and kind of see 3PO and R2 show it the ropes. And I don't know, like
3PO.
they've been around like in every era, right?
I know.
Like they've been in the prequels, the original trilogy, the sequel trilogy. They've been like through thick and thin and everything. We saw them in Rebels. Like, who knows if we'll see like little flashbacks where they're like, that one time when I was with Master Anakin. Like, I just feel like it's gonna be very cute. Like, it's probably gonna be kiddie, but I'm probably still gonna watch it anyway.
I'm probably definitely gonna watch it. I agree. I think sometimes, like in the Clone Wars, they had that episode, where the little guy, I can't remember his name, has to go on a rescue mission or something with just 5 droids, right? They just sent in droids. And he goes because he's the only one small enough to fit inside a droid, right? And I thought at first, I looked at the episode, we were sitting down to watch it, and I was just like, okay, an episode about droids. But then it ends up being so good. And the droids, I mean, they're machines, but it's like they have, some of them are sassy and some of them are serious. And like 3PO is just, hey, stuck up. And all these different things. So I'm actually excited now to see a show about the droids, and especially about R2 and 3PO, because like you said, they're around the whole time. We saw them from episode 1 to episode 9. And you know that they've seen a lot of stuff that we don't know about. So that's gonna be cool.
Yeah. And then the last kind of big thing that got introduced was we are getting two. We know Taika's doing a Star Wars film.
Yay, Taika.
Don't know anything about it, but Taika's awesome.
Yes, he
so
is.
Excited for that. And 2, Patty Jenkins, who did the Wonder Woman films, which are awesome, loved them. Not a DC fan at all with films, but she rocked it on those both. I'm excited for Wonder Woman 84. That'll be really, really good. But she's doing Rogue Squadron. So that's going to be awesome. They've already stated it's not going to be based on the game that just came out, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I love like flight in Star Wars. The ships are awesome. Like seeing all the different forms and shapes of ships that we have out there. And getting a show about that and what I would assume are the pilots. So like Rogue Squadron we had like Wedge and Biggs in Rogue Squadron. We're probably not going to see Luke, obviously. But being able to kind of see this squadron, or who knows, maybe other squadrons, and like in live action is going to be really, really cool. And just focusing on probably space combat.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that. Obviously we get a lot of space combat in Star Wars. and they're the franchise that made movies about space combat a thing,
Mhm.
right? Before that, it was like, what are we even space combat? Like what? And then Star Wars made it a thing, you know, that you could do on film, and so I'm excited that the director is someone who is familiar with how ships fly and
Yeah.
how exhilarating it is to see them, you know, doing tricks and their thing up there. So yeah, I'm excited to see how what's gonna go on, and also super kudos because she's the very first woman
First
director
woman director,
in the Star Wars film franchise. So
which is awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like her father was a pilot in, I want to say, the Air Force. I would assume, I don't remember. She released a little like trailer thing. So she's always had that passion for flight, and she finally found like that film she wanted to work on that represented two things she loved: Star Wars and ships.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of like stuff coming out. It's gonna be cool to think that for once, as a Star Wars fan, we might have something to watch every single week, multiple days of the week. That's Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel
we've
like
never
every
been able to
time-
do that.
no.
Like, we get done with like The Mandalorian on Fridays, and we're just sitting there like, all right,
I know.
when's the next one? What do
we're
we do
like,
now?
Let's watch Rebels again, which is what
We
we're
are,
actually
yeah.
doing. And then after Rebels is over, I think a few days ago, we're like, we should watch the Clone Wars again because it's like we need this fix.
Yeah.
And also, you know, I feel like the Star Wars universe is so expansive, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are so many things happening at once that watching a new show, every time you see it, you're like, oh, like I just link this together. This is when this is happening in this show. Or, you know, they're saying this because this other thing. And so I feel like there's a lot of rewatchability to them.
Oh yeah.
Which is nice, but I'm very excited to have new content to flesh out the stories and give us even a deeper universe than what we already have. So
yeah,
kudos to Lucasfilm. I mean, it's amazing. I was just basically complaining about this the other day because I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, for those of you that don't know.
This is a Star Wars show. No,
I know. and I was just like kind of pissed, you know, because I'm like, Star Wars is doing all this stuff and I'm over here like, where's my Harry Potter stuff? And there's just like nothing in there. There's like Fantastic Beasts 3 coming out in 3 years. I'm just like, all right, y'all get 1 point. All the other phones are going over here. So
1 point to Gryffindor.
Yeah, exactly.
You just need Disney to acquire it, and then you're golden.
They should have, yeah. I don't know. So yeah. Anyway, I'm super excited about all the stuff that's coming out. So yeah.
Yeah. A lot of Star Wars news. We're super excited. We are planning on doing more of this for sure, especially with all this Star Wars content coming out. So if you guys enjoyed this, make sure to hit that like button, follow the channel. We'll be coming at you with a lot more Star Wars content and probably some non-Star Wars stuff down the road. But yeah, thank you all so much for hanging out, and we will catch you all next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.